On July 22, 2011, two terror attacks in Norway were perpetrated by a white Norwegian right-wing extremist, Anders Breivik. His stated motivation was to eradicate the Muslims' presence in Norway and Europe by massacring Norwegian social democrats. He believed to be responsible for allowing Muslims immigration to Norway since the 1960s. 77 people died that day, most of them were teenagers. The terror attacks came at the end of a decade in which Islamophobic ideas has become increasingly mainstream in Norwegian politics. Norway has a population of 5.1 million, of whom an estimated 4.2% are of Muslims background. It has a coalition government consisting of the Liberal Conservative Party and the populist right-wing Progress Party since the parliamentary elections of September 2013. The Progress Party, a party whose voters are more likely to be male, unemployed, have a low level of education and are of social welfare benefits than any other party in Norway, hugely opposed immigration in general and immigration of Muslims in particular as a central mobilizing factor during the elections of 2013. Surveys has indicated that the Progress Party has a considerable number of self-declared right-wing extremists among its voters and sympathizers. Subsequent to their coming into government in October 2013, in a two-pronged political strategy designed to retain the support of the party's far-right electoral constituencies, individuals appointed to cabinet posts from the party have toned down their historically virulent anti-Muslim and Islamophobic rhetoric. Whilst individuals in leading posts as official spokespersons for the party, administrative officials and central party members of parliament have continued apace with their rhetoric against Islam and Muslims. In 2015, number of rallies in Oslo were seen in support of the German anti-Muslim and anti-immigration Pegida movement organized by Norwegian far-right activists affiliated with Norwegian Defense League and Stop the Islamization of Norway.
Unnskyld, kan jeg spørre deg hva du gjør her? Vis min avsky mot muslimjævler som deg. Jævla innvandrere dritt som deg.
Some authentic surveys in Norway document that Muslims, according to social distance scales, are among the least desired citizens in Norway after the Roma. The Norwegian Prosecutor General has since 2000 asked local police districts to prioritize hate crimes. But until recently, efforts in this field can at best be described as limited in scope and efficiency. So much so that Norwegian Muslims interviewed for a newspaper report about this issue asserted that Muslims do not report hate crimes since they allegedly have no confidence in the police taking it seriously. Civil society activists as well as legal experts in this field also indicate that there is a significant underreporting of such cases for reasons which include a lack of confidence in the local police, a lack of knowledge of existing laws and their applicability in hate speech cases, etc. The Norwegian mainstream media have also continued its long-standing established practice of referring to even far-right civil society activists who regularly engage in both racist, discriminatory and Islamophobic rhetoric targeted at Muslims as critics of Islam, thereby implying that what organizations such as Stop Islamization of Norway and the human rights services are involved in is part of a venerable Enlightenment tradition of critique of religion, rather than in advocacy for stigmatization, exclusion and discrimination against Norwegian Muslims. In the media bliss which surrounded the publication of Hage Storhog's self-published popular book Islam, the 11th Plague of the Nation, which is a replete with distortions and fabrications. Storhog not only called for prohibitions against mosques in Norway, but also insinuated on the basis of non-existent empirical data that some 30 to 40% of Norwegian Muslims could be characterized as fundamentalist. Central nodes for the propagation of Islamophobia in Norway are websites at present. Some notorious Islamophobes operating in Scandinavian countries include Hans Rustad and the right-wing extremist blogger Peter Jensen, believed to be living in Copenhagen, Denmark, where he is closely aligned with Lars Hegaard of Danish Free Press Society, who also serves as a node for dissemination of Islamophobia in Norway and Scandinavia through his writings on various far-right websites. Rita Carlson of the Human Rights Services is the most central and influential person in current Norwegian Islamophobia networks due to her extensive links to the Norwegian Progress Party, extensive state funding and long-standing links with Lars Hegaard and Hail Meter Bricks, hate shootings, etc. Additionally, online comments fields in mainstream Norwegian newspapers also serve to propagate Islamophobic views and sentiments with limited moderation by the newspapers concerned. Dear viewers, many Muslims see today's welfare state in Norway as closer to the Muslim ideal state than many countries in the Muslim world, and Norwegian Muslims want to keep the Norwegian state as it is. However, public debates in Norway are no less influenced by anti-Islamic sentiments than other European countries. European Commission Against Racism and Intolerance strongly recommended that the Norwegian authorities monitor the situation as concerns Islamophobia in Norway and take swift action to counter any such manifestations as necessary. Civil society organizations such as the Norwegian Center Against Racism, the Organization Against Public Discrimination, and other organizations have continued their long-standing work of countering racism and discriminatory attitudes and ideas, but have not had the resources available to launch new initiatives and campaigns in this field. Lutheran State Church in Norway, through its inter-religious dialogue and involvement in national and international bodies, has continued its work for inter-religious tolerance, also in extensive formalized contacts with Islamic Council of Norway.